On today's video, we will be speaking with Moha and Pavan. So both of them work with me on different business schools, and I'm happy to report that both of them would be attending HEC Paris together. So on this video, what we are going to do is that we are going to understand first that how couples can go and apply to different set of business schools, and then we will chat with Moha and Pavan about their backgrounds and how did they interview at HEC and some of their tips that they would like to share with prospective applicants, right? So as a starting point, if both of you can quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Moha. I have been in construction industry for past 7 years, and I was in a place where I was hitting the glass ceiling, and I thought of doing an MBA. And as I was studying, and after I gave my exam, I saw my GMAT results, and I was like, okay, how do I go further from here? So I started researching about the schools, but then I was not able to make a concrete decision. So that's when I found Akshat's profile, and I just out of the blue just gave him a call. It was very pacifying for me. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead. And then we started working on the application and research school. And that's when I actually knew that, which schools actually fit my profile, aspects of my profile I should highlight. And that's about it.
Okay. Okay, so Pavan, if you can quickly introduce yourself. He's the less chatty one in the relationship, I assume.
Okay.
So, I have a background in engineering, and post that I have joined Incentives as a data analyst, and that's the only place I've worked with so far. I've grown to be a consultant and a strategy consultant over there, and I knew I wanted to grow personally and career, and MBA is the way to go. And after giving my GMAT exam, I knew the next obstacle: one, engineer; second, male; third, IT consulting. The most competitive pool there ever is for MBA application pool. So I looked out for some help, and I came across my MBA journey, where I saw my seniors, my batchmates, and my juniors' testimonials. And immediately I thought, okay, let me connect to the person. I contacted my friends. They gave me a really absolutely good feedback, and then I met you. After speaking to you, you gave me a lot of confidence. So that's about it.
So thank you so much for saying all those nice things, right? On a serious note, so let's sort of delve deeper into what it's like to apply as a couple, right, to different business schools. So I'm assuming that you guys faced a lot of challenges, right? So if you can touch upon the major challenges that you faced along the way, we can take the discussion from there.
Yeah. So once we have cleared GMAT, that was just a minimum part of what comes next. So when we thought about it, we have very different backgrounds, and picking the schools that would match both of our targets and that fit in the same country was the criteria we had. Same country or the same subcontinent or the things that we looked upon. And after contacting you, we've got to know a lot about multiple schools that are strong in both the criteria we have. And with your help, we were able to drill down the colleges, and a lot of research and the talking to alumni has helped us filter the colleges that we want to attend.
One of the major hiccup was that we wanted to excel at our given careers, but also not work long distance. So distance was one criteria. Then neither one of us wanted to compromise on our career. So a school which has programs good for both and can cater to both of our requirements. Also, we wanted to have a little bit flexibility.
So I'm sure that you guys have researched a ton of schools, right? So what, according to you, were a few schools that would be that should be considered by people who are applying together as a couple?
So for people who are applying together as a couple, I would say the location is very important. So like for Pavan, IT, and for me, architecture, construction industry was the main target. So we wanted to look into places that offer, or a school which is based in a place that offers good opportunities for both. So that's why we were thinking, in US we were thinking of the New York region, and NYU Stern was a good pick. Then other than NYU Stern, HEC was our primary, our main target. So NYU and HEC, because Paris has both the industries. It's growing in terms of finance and IT, and also there are a lot of construction companies in Europe. So that was another factor. Then we also thought of applying to Canada, because we thought that but that was not the target school. But then we thought that it can be a fallback option.
Okay, all right. Now, in terms of financing your MBA, I'm sure that you guys are looking into it. So, what are the challenges have you faced in terms of getting access to financing, or have you faced any challenges at all there, and how are you dealing with it?
So I wouldn't say we faced much of a hiccup. Initially, the plan was we apply together somewhere where we are settled now. But then we thought about it, and Prodigy Finance, although they offer really less rate of interest, it was difficult to procure a loan from there.
Okay.
So what we did was we both applied for a loan from our individual hometowns. Pavan's being Vizag and me being from Jaipur. It was easier to ask our parents to help out in that term. So we applied from our native places, and then showed, and then it was easier to get the process done from there.
Okay. So yes, sorry. So
as she mentioned out, so it was not procurement that was difficult with the Prodigy. It was the loan amount. So they were giving for tuition fees. Okay. And since we were applying as a couple, we had more finances to take care of. And the Indian banks especially, they are willing to give loan on the living expenses as well.
Sure. Okay.
So we preferred banks over Prodigy.
Okay. So just a few point of differentiation between different loan options. So I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, so at Prodigy Finance you get collateral free loans, right?
Yes.
And at Indian banks you get collateralized loans, right?
Yes.
That's one. And Prodigy Finance gives up to 80% of the tuition amount, right?
Tuition amount.
Okay.
And Indian banks, you can get your tuition plus living expenses.
Okay. So up to the entire amount.
At the entire.
Yeah, the entire amount.
All right. And in terms of rate of interest that are being offered by different options, if you can speak about a few feasible options that you guys explored.
So the feasible options that we explored was Prodigy Finance and the banks. Okay. And other than that, there were few other private institutions which are willing to offer loans, especially like since HEC is a top tier school, they are also willing to give like loan without collateral.
Okay.
But since we looked out for institutions that can give loan on the living expenses as well, we preferred banks. So my comparisons that I drew between these two is that if you go with the institutions that do not require collateral and the international organizations, they give you a lesser rate of interest, which is around 8% total interest compared to 10 to 10.5 in the banks.
Got it.
But I think in the overall term, in the overall duration that you pay out, the fluctuation in the currency might equal it out. So that's what we thought, and we went ahead with the banks.
Okay, all right. So just a quick take on 1 year versus 2 year MBA programs, because you have looked into both, right? For example, NYU Stern is a 2 year MBA program and HEC is a 1 year MBA program. So if you can give your take between 1 year and 2 year, what are the advantages and disadvantages, especially considering that you guys are going together?
Yeah, so first of all, HEC is a 16 months program.
Yeah.
And I think that was exactly the sweet spot. 1 year I thought, because I have a lot to learn, because I have no understanding of finance or business or strategy. It's been pure design. So from my perspective, I thought that it would not be sufficient for me to actually understand or undertake everything that there to learn. And along with, if I wanted to do an internship or do an exchange, 1 year programs do not provide you that. A 2 year program, they become slightly lengthy. I would not say lengthy, but if there is no exchange or if there is no cost. Yeah, and the cost factor is, of course, when you're staying somewhere for 2 years, the living expenses also take a toll on you. So we wanted something in between, and HEC just
So perfect fit from that angle.
For me, from my point of view, so I was lucky enough to start with an organization among the very few people when I started over there.
Okay.
And like it was 6 people I started with, and now the company has grown to more than 50 people in the organization. So I have got a very good opportunity to work and be mentored by founders of the company. So like I was looking at institutions which could boost my learnings and help me take my career to the next level. So I preferred something which has where the duration is short, at the same time give me an opportunity for an internship in between, and that's where HEC hit the right spot for us.
Okay. All right, wonderful. So I will summarize the discussion so far, and please feel free to add any additional useful points. Right. So one is that when you are applying as a couple, it's very important to understand the career opportunities that would be available to both the parties.
Exactly.
Right. And that's where HEC Paris comes into the picture, because it's a city school, and Moha as an architect would get options, and Pavan as a tech guy would get options within the city. That's one. Second thing is looking at the duration of the program, because if it's a lengthy program, there is number one, the fee is going to be higher, and number two, the opportunity cost issues will be there, right? I mean that you will get back to the workforce later, so that would be an option, that would be an issue. Third is that look at the financing mechanism and financing needs for yourself, and estimate how much budget you would need to have, and how are you going to procure those loans, scholarships, and additional amounts. Right? Okay. So anything that we missed in terms of applying as a couple, any details that you would want to share with the audience that you feel would be necessary for them to know?
One thing I would like to add is that yes, you have to also take into consideration for the distance relationship, if you have slightly different goals and your choices for the best schools are different.
Okay.
So we were prepared for that, but luckily we got into the same school, the target school we had. So one thing that people can keep in mind and apply, so consider the school options in such a way that you like divide the regions and then apply to the schools in pockets.
Got it. All right, wonderful tips. So what we can do in the next part of the video is that we can speak with Moha and Pavan about their interview experience at HEC, right?